you so much for tuning in to System Tutoring Agency's Schooling the System podcast. Today I'm here with Kodi Agbasi, former founder, entrepreneur, continuous learner, and a project manager at Apple. Kodi, how are you holding up these days?
Really struggling. It's been tough. It's been real tough. Because it's like the learning curve is crazy steep. They expect you to like know all these things as if you've been there.
Yeah.
It's hard to balance like all like work things and entrepreneurial activities and just I'm surviving though. I'm thankful. I'm very thankful. So can't complain.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's amazing your story about how you even got to Apple. And I'm sure our audience would like to know, how did you transition into a product manager at Apple? I know you started in engineering with Samsung. Can you talk more about that story?
Yeah. So I started off, oh man, this is a story. So I started off engineering at Samsung. I was doing did that for about 3 years, but like over the way, like, so I was doing a mixture of chemical and industrial engineering.
Okay.
It was cool, but it was just so like siloed. It was so like, if I stayed in the industry, I was just gonna be stuck there for the rest of my life. Like,
Yeah.
because I was in semiconductors.
Yeah.
That's just super like anyways, so along the way, like I got into my first year in Austin, I founded this app that helped people know what to do in the city. And that was pretty cool. Got some decent traction in Baylor. But then I had some technical disagreements with the people I was working with,
Yeah.
and I didn't get funding, and I was like, all right, I gotta put the plug on this. But that
Mm.
was my first like I guess journey into entrepreneurship and like outside of work activities. It was fun, like as you know, like being an entrepreneur is like cool, like building your own thing, seeing it grow, like
Yeah.
um, so that was really cool. So as I was doing that, kept on working, I was all right, cool, like I can do more than this, I can do more than just this regular stuff I'm doing. And I was privileged enough I worked half the week was my previous schedule. So it was really dope to like have like I worked Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and have the rest of the week to just kind of like do what I wanted to do. And of course, I didn't want to spend that time just, you know, doing whatever, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I need to get better every day. So after like doing the app and not like, I guess finishing through, I was like, what were my gaps? So I started learning how to code. I
Mm.
already knew how to code, but like not at the level that I felt like was very useful for me, you know what I'm saying? So I just started learning every day, like every day I would always go to library. I'll be in library from like 9 to like 5 on my off days, and it was cool because it was like I was learning and learning and learning.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like where I really started, like I guess, evolving. Because on top of that, I started putting my learnings into work, and people were like, "Oh shit! Like, where'd you come out here like building all this shit?" Excuse me for my cussing. But
Okay.
but everybody was like, "Oh, like how you know all these things?" And it was cool because I was like, "Oh wow! I'm really doing this shit. Like I didn't think I could do all these things, So
Yeah.
around that time when I was really like learning and growing and things like that, I got reached out to by Google to interview for a software engineering position. And I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
I never thought, I would get hit up by Google, but so I
Mm.
got to do that interview and I learned a whole lot, like prepping for that, because that's a whole computer science course. But anyways, did that, learned that, didn't get the job, and I was like, shoot, okay, I need to study some more. So I just like studied even harder than I was before, which was cool. And along the way, like, um, this is okay. I'm trying to tell the story in the best way. So along the way, I was still learning coding, and then my mom, she also has a business.
Mm.
She was sewing and making clothes and things like that. And every time like I'd wear her stuff, people would be like, "Oh, that's super dope! Like, who made that? This, that, third." And I was like, "Oh, my mom." Like, "Oh, can I get one?" I'd be like, "Oh yeah, let me hit her up. Let me call her. Let me give her your size. Let me get your number. And it just wasn't scalable. And I was like, like you have good stuff. Like we need to get your things out there for people to see. So as I was like developing my skills, like coding, things like that, like I along with like started like figuring out like how we're gonna build this business for my mom.
Mm.
And then during that same time, I interviewed at Facebook and Google the second time. So it's just like more studying, like, okay, I need to now Google then Facebook, and now it's like more, all these things. So it was really cool because I was doing like a lot at the time and I was learning a lot because I was in these situations. Um, and I didn't get both those jobs, Google and Facebook, and I was like, wow, I'm really stupid, you know.
They will
So
really humble you for sure.
yeah, because it's like you think you're supposed to get something.
Yeah.
So it came to a time where I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna stop worrying about these interviews. I'm just gonna do my stuff at work, and I'm gonna focus on building Kagoni, which is the clothing brand. So I was like, I'm not gonna worry about trying to leave. I'm just gonna get better every day. Um, so study, building Kagoni, building it, taking pictures for the site, building the site, all that good stuff. And then doing that, and then I started actually getting into machine learning.
Mm.
Uh, I was like, I started because well, this is a lot. Because I joined Graduate, which we'll get to. Are you gonna ask me about that later? I don't know if you are. I just so much. Like, I'm trying to like summarize everything.
Yeah. No, no, no. I kind of wanted you to backpedal a little bit and talk about. I'd heard that you went to Baylor. Obviously, we went to school together. And how was your experience there? Because I'm sure our experiences might have been different, and I know because you had a different, obviously major and career path. And so, what was it like enrolling at Baylor and being in your certain program? Do you think your education there prepared you for the future, regardless of your career path?
My education, no, not really. To be honest, because I don't use anything that I learned from any of my classes from when I first started work. I think what Baylor taught me it wasn't education, it was the people. It was like I changed so much just because of the people that I was around and people that I got to know, and I became who I am because of the people and because of the being at Baylor. Like I got to um, the network, and I guess getting to interview at the job, my first job at Samsung, like so, I didn't even get that because of my grades. I got that just because I talked to the recruiter and he liked me, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so I think,
Sometimes, I mean,
at the end of the day for Baylor, to me, it was more so the opportunity and then the people I was around, less so the education, completely,
yeah.
absolutely less so. So
Yeah. So it seems like you've done a lot over the years, starting with your first app. What was that app called?
it was called What's Poppin'.
But
So
awesome. And what was that app about?
it was about helping users in the city find things to do, not
Oh,
only based off of like yeah. So it's like there's a lot of like location apps like Eventbrite, Do512, or whatever else it may be. But I decided to make it different by like finding things to do, not only based off of like events happening, but like where people were moving real time. So
that's
like
awesome.
so
Wow.
your location in the background, like we don't ask for permission, of course. So like wherever you are in the city, if there's like a certain number of people in a certain area in the city, you can
Mhm.
pull up and see like a map, and you can see markers like poppin markers. So you see like what's poppin in the city, like based off of like also like that poppin marker would have age as well as sex. So you
Mm,
knew exactly what everywhere looked like before you got there. So yeah, that was the idea.
awesome. I know you said that particular journey was I mean, not the journey, the platform failed. And so, what did you learn from that entire process? And what did you take with you after?
I learned that before you outsource, you need to know what you're doing.
Mm,
You can't outsource if you don't fully understand like what you're building. And
yeah,
that's what I did. Like I had outsourced to this my friend's startup, but still like I didn't know like how everything was pieced together. Like he helped me with my logo, he helped me with kind of building the app up. Like even the UI, like I didn't have much input into that.
yeah,
Uh, so like it was very much so like okay, like I have a vision, but I need to be able to know how to execute it. I can't expect people to
mm,
help me do that because I have the money to pay them type shit. So
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, that was the biggest thing I learned is like don't outsource anything you don't understand at least.
No, absolutely. Yeah, you definitely want to have a general understanding of first, what is your business structure? What's your business model? What are you trying to convey? What are you trying to make people believe? That's important, but also just what are the details regarding your business? What do you actually have to know in advance? What are some things that you might have to read up on and research on? Because it's very easy to just jump in and be like, oh, well, my friend does this and they're good at this and they could help me. But I don't know, they may know more than you, and so you're kind of just following their lead. And sometimes when you're building your own business, you definitely want to be the leader. You want them to follow your lead. And so,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. So you were talking a bit about your brand or you and your mom's collaboration of Kagoni. So what kind of items do you sell there, and what have you learned throughout that particular entrepreneurial endeavor?
Um, it's man, I've learned a lot. I really gotten a big respect for small businesses. Uh, like you don't know how hard it is to like do some things and to like actually do it. Like how hard it is to generate support, generate a base, generate like all the things you have to do from like um how some things as simple as like you see the pictures of clothes like on a website, like just like the art that it like all that it takes to get that to look as nice as it does, like like
Yeah.
because I've had to do that like myself and figure out like, oh wow, this I actually have to learn this, try that. And so things as simple as that, like I have so much more appreciation for clothing websites and all the people that go into like putting all those things together, and then social media and people who curate social media and posts and all that engagement. Like it's so much like so to me I've just gotten like a big respect for like all the puzzle pieces that go into making something. And then as far as what we sell African clothes. So I don't even say even African clothes, just like really more putting African twist, a cultural twist on modern designs.
Yeah.
So a lot of like long sleeves that like have like different like African prints through it, short sleeves, things like that, and then of course logo T-shirts that you bought. So
I should have worn. I was just thinking about how I should have worn the shirt I bought from y'all because marketing, duh. But no, no, no. Yeah, your products are amazing. I visited your website. I think the way you described it, like a cultural twist on modern clothing, is the like that's your slogan, like that's your tagline. You have amazing, colorful pieces, and it's for anyone, honestly, at any age. And I think that's always good with retail. You want to make sure people have options, and it's for many different, people from different demographics. So I noticed that you also said that you were interested in data analytics and machine learning. Is that more self-taught or did you learn it on the job? And if it is self-taught, what are some resources that you could offer our audience?
um it was um it was self-taught because I was, well, we'll get to that, but it was self-taught. I kind of started teaching myself. I learned through Kaggle.
Okay.
Kaggle, have you heard of Kaggle?
Yes, I've heard of it. The it's where you can play like little what's it called? Don't tell me. It's you can like be in these competitions where you can like come up with
Exactly.
solutions to different technical problems. So
They have so like because my friend put me on because I was always learning. Learned on Udemy, DataCamp, um, Udemy, DataCamp were really the main ones, and then Kaggle, and then doing like challenges on there because they have cloud GPUs for those who don't know about GPUs, but they really help you with computating models for machine learning,
yeah,
things like that. So they had that, so that was really convenient because I don't want to go and buy a GPU because that's super expensive.
yes, exactly.
So that was like Kaggle, Udemy, DataCamp, like they all have different courses and different things you can do to like learn. So those are
Yeah.
the big things. And then machine learning was really just I started learning that for a platform that me and my friends were building.
Okay.
Really going to I was going to focus on building out that portion of our platform, but then I got a job at Apple and my responsibilities changed. I wasn't working half the week anymore. So that got a little trickier. But yeah, that's a segue. But yeah, that's kind of like what I was learning and what I was doing and how I did it. And
Awesome. So,
podcast too. Yeah.
yeah, do you use data analytics and machine learning or in general over the years you've gained so many skills. And so I want to know like what do you use in your current role with Apple as a program manager? What do you do?
Okay.
And
So
project manager, sorry, not program.
yeah, so I'm a project manager at Apple. So it's easy to mix up because it's PM is like be product, program, product. So it's like easy to
They're all pretty different. So you
yeah,
want to
yeah. So it's all different. But it's interesting because I do project management and product management.
okay,
So
got
like, but my title is project manager. But so pretty much at Apple, I don't. It's really interesting. So quick backstory. Before I joined Apple, I was going to join this AI fellowship
Okay.
so I could just like I wanted to become a machine learning engineer. So I was gonna leave Samsung and just do like this 3 month AI fellowship. So it's interesting that now at Apple, I'm um I'm a project manager for a lot of our machine learning projects, data analytics projects, as well as like in parallel, I also do product management for a system that well, I can't speak too much on it, but a, a pretty big system that we use for our capital expenditures, for like buying, procuring like products for like the new iPhone, year over year. So that's kind of a mixture of what I do: product management for that system and project management for machine learning and
Yeah,
data analytics projects. So
that's
it's
awesome.
interesting because like I was trying to be a machine learning engineer, but now I'm like managing machine learning engineer. So that was
Yeah.
a pretty fun. I was like, it's pretty crazy transition. Um,
Honestly, I'm like, okay, so you wanted to do machine learning, but now you're managing people that do machine learning. Like you're just overachieving, and I'm honestly jealous because I'm just a data analyst, and I'm like, okay, this guy's doing great things, and I'm proud of myself. But
yeah, yeah, we're all.
amazing things, seriously, and your journey, your story is so like it's so different, and it's because don't get me wrong, when people talk about how they went from this to this and how they found a new career or things of that nature, but you literally work at Apple. Like, I don't think you understand that working at Apple is like, it's a big deal. Like, I remember, like, I didn't even bother to apply when I went to like different conferences and I see their big little like Apple sign and people talking and be like, yeah, I'm not even, yeah. Because they'd always say, oh, yeah, you need to like do this, you need to go to this school, you need to have this and or whatever. And it's like, you transition into this role just by you consistently working hard, self-taught. You didn't go back to school, you know, and you just persevered and you were able to attain this. And I just have the utmost respect for you. Honestly, I'm so proud of you. That's amazing. That really is amazing. Um, but you were talking about you're working on another platform where you're utilizing machine learning. What is that, and how are you utilizing machine learning there? What is that called?
So that platform is called Graduate.
Okay.
So I was going to be our machine learning engineer for our AI portion, which I'll give a background on what we were doing. So pretty much Graduate is a online platform that allows like pretty much we connect college students, new grads to careers, using artificial intelligence. So it's kind of like a dream, see like a slogan, like a dream career matchmaker that helps candidates find jobs that are good for them, only them. And it's like, what does that mean? Because I think because even with me getting my job at Apple, one thing that company, because I asked them, I was like, y'all could have picked, like I was like on paper I was underqualified, like to be
Mhm.
honest, on paper. I have a good resume, but like I don't have project management experience
Yeah.
before, you know. And I asked him, I was like, like I'm happy I got picked and I worked hard, but what was it, y'all? It's the pandemic. There's people from Uber who are unemployed, people from all these places, big companies are unemployed. I was like, y'all could have picked anybody. Like, why did y'all pick me?
Yeah.
They're like, it's more so like we saw like you were hungry, but like you also were a great cultural fit. You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? You're willing to learn, like, and these are things that somebody who's like interviewing wouldn't know. Like they're qualified candidates, but because they just don't know what the company's looking for, what kind of person they want. Apple was like, we like you wanted to learn, you were willing to do this, you're willing to do that.
yeah.
Like you have great skills, but like we know you're green, but we're willing to gamble because you have these cultural fits about you. And these are things a lot of candidates like. It sucks like when you get a job and you interview and you just don't get through it because like why didn't I do good? Why? It's
Yeah.
not you're a bad candidate because you just didn't have the cultural fit. So come us, graduate. That was just giving a little background. So that's kind of where we're trying to fit in. We're trying to solve the problem we're trying to solve is excuse me. The problem we're trying to solve is a lot of companies. So first off, graduates graduate, they
Yeah.
can't get a job. They don't know what they. First off, they can't get a job. They don't know what they want to do. Like I want to be an analyst. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a this. They don't know what they want to do. So that's one problem. And then companies or even graduates join jobs and then leave after a year because they're like, I hate this job. This isn't what I want to do.
Yeah.
So, so companies face that trouble on their end where they're losing thousands of dollars a year you know what I'm saying, trying to paying for these graduates who just leave after a year. It's a millennial problem,
Yeah.
extreme millennial problem. So it's just like two pronged. Like graduates can't find jobs, companies can't find graduates. So that's kind of where we come in the middle to like, okay, what's a gap between, you know, graduates not finding jobs, things like that, them finding not finding the right fit, and then companies finding candidates who are going to stick with them. So that's where we come in to fill in that gap of like, how do we find a cultural fit that graduates like? How do we find a cultural fit that companies like, and marry the two together with AI? So it's kind of like I kind of see like a Netflix for jobs almost.
Yeah, like where was that when I graduated from college? It took me forever to find a job. It was crazy. I'm like, I'm a graduate, like I'm a Baylor grad. Like, where are the jobs? I thought they would like fall into my lap. It was tough. So this is an awesome platform that I think would be incredibly useful to not only employers, like you said, but also graduates that are looking for work because it is extremely tough. You spend so much time, energy, and money on a degree only to realize like you're kind of like thinking like what was the point at some point, you know? And so I think having that access to graduate would allow them to kind of have a seamless journey towards their career choice. That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. We're gonna switch gears a little bit. I kind of want to know what you've been doing lately. I know the pandemic has ruined our entire year, um, but I want to know what you've been doing. What you've been reading? Anything that you've been interested in? Anything that I should check out or we should check out?
Um, Man, to be honest, I've been working like crazy lately. This job has me just
Because some people don't have jobs.
so no, I'm definitely like I've been working all the time. If I'm not working, I'm working on Kodi and I'm working on graduate. If I'm not doing that, I'm working out or going for a bike ride. If I'm not doing that, I might watch started watching Top Boy.
Mm,
So on Netflix, it's a really good show. So I was binge watching that for a while. But yeah, if I'm not working, I'm working on personal work. If I'm not doing that, I'm working on my physical mentality. If I'm not doing that, I'm physically mentally
yeah, you
working.
have to take care of yourself, you know, to do good work. So
Yeah.
that's important. So what are some tips that you would have for anyone that wants to make a career change? Because you made a drastic career change, and what's some advice you'd have for them?
I would say just like honestly, the biggest thing is being ready for when the opportunity comes. Because like I didn't apply to Apple. You know what I'm saying? They reach out to me, but
Yeah,
that doesn't happen to people. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? You know, like that the reason I got that job, I won't say it's because of anything I did. Of course, it was a big part, like God for sure. You
yeah,
know, but I was ready when I got picked. You
mm,
know, people get hit up and then they would mess up. Like, man, like I had a chance, but like the chance came, presented itself, and then I was ready when the time came. So, what advice would I give is being ready. You know,
yeah,
like whether it's like whenever you have some free time, where you just take that time to like learn something new, if whatever you're passionate about. It doesn't have to be data, it doesn't have to be coding, it could be art. Like work
yeah.
on your craft, take some time to do that. Don't complain like, oh, like I can't. Just just put in the work, like so that's all I'd say is be ready so that when the time comes you don't have to get ready.
Wow,
So
that's quote of the year. Be ready so you don't have to prepare to get ready when the time comes. That's so true. Um, so, what are some future plans that you have for your businesses or your career? What are you looking forward to?
man, it's really interesting that you asked me this question
Yeah.
because one of my one girl on the Apple, on one of our new employees, she asked me the same thing. She was like, "It's like, where do you see yourself going in Apple and all these things?" And I was like, to be honest, I see myself taking as much as I can learn from these people and taking it to build my own shit.
Mm,
I was like, I don't see myself as a director. I don't see myself as a manager. I mean, definitely, I definitely hope I keep, my career keeps going up, but like my vision is in these things, you know what I'm saying? My vision is to take everything I'm learning from this and then put it into graduate, put it into Pagoni. Like where I see graduate going is like being the go-to space that people come to connect, find the job that's for them, get recommended the right jobs. Companies go, you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Kind of like the the new LinkedIn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm
Um,
thinking that.
or like a computer of LinkedIn. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever it may be. Kagoni like being something that like is a recognized brand. Like athletes are wearing it. Like artists are wearing it. Things like that, where it's just like super like recognizable. So those are things that I'm really like focusing on building, like really trying to make grow. Um, and work, of course, work is going to keep doing work, but it's work is what feeds my real work.
Yeah,
So
that's right. You're just dropping gems. Work is what feeds your. That is so true, especially as a small business owner.
yeah,
Um, it's tough. It's super tough, and I just
yeah,
thank God every day that like I have a job that gives me the opportunity and the mindset, honestly, to continue to pursue what I really love and what I'm really passionate about. And so that is so true. I guess to wrap things up, the hardest question, it's always the hardest question of our podcast, and is what does schooling the system mean to you?
Ooh, I like that. I like that. School in the system means just not, you know what I'm saying, not being a victim to your situation. Like, I could have many times said, oh, because I didn't, like I didn't have the best grades in college, that means that like to be honest, like full disclosure for anybody that have to listen to this, my GPA when I graduated from college was like a 2.6.
Mm,
And not many people knew that. And
yeah.
even to get into Samsung, you needed a 3.0, but I
Okay.
got it because of my conversations. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I was never the smartest so anyways, what I'm trying to say is don't be, because you didn't do the best in a certain situation, don't let that stop you from where you're going to be. It's not about where you started, but who you become on the road to where you're going. So school in the system is really about, to me, like not being a victim of your situation, but overcoming it and schooling it, I guess.
So good. I know it's always tough because I put people on the spot with that question, but that is so true. Taking all your shortcomings and jumping over them and moving forward and doing the best that you can because it's temporary. You know, everything is temporary, and so with that, I want to thank you so much for being on our show. I enjoyed talking to you and learning about your story, and I'm sure our audience did too. We will definitely follow Graduate, Kagoni, and even just your journey with Apple. And so, again, I want to thank you for being on School in the System, and I look forward to all the things you do. And remain blessed, Kodi. It was awesome. It was awesome talking to you.
Always. Thank you.
Yes, for sure. We'll see you soon.
Cool. Sounds
Bye.
good.